Welcome, the hour being 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. The Tooele City Council's meeting in a business meeting being held at Tooele City Hall in the council chambers located at 90 North Main Street. This is also being broadcast on the Tooele City YouTube channel. We will start with our first agenda item, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please rise and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go to our roll call. Councilwoman Manzione.
Present.
Councilman Graff.
Present.
Councilman Hanson.
Present.
I'm Councilman Brady. I'm also present. And Councilman McCall's asked to be excused from this meeting. Our third item is the public comment period. We invite the public to come up, state your name into the mic, and we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and then you sign the paper over here by Holly. The time is now the public's.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'll go way less than 3 minutes. Chris Sloan from Tooele City. I just wanted to commend all the city extended all the way down to the Arts Council and everybody else that was involved in the festivities over the last week or 10 days. I got a chance to go to a bunch of them, and it was awesome. Great job by everybody. The concert and fireworks were wonderful. The parade was wonderful. If we can ever figure out how to keep the parents from running into the road to get candy for their kids, then we'll be in business. But everything was done first rate, and it seemed like everybody had a great time. So thank you all for all your efforts, and that's everybody that was involved in it. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public comment period. We'll move on to item 4, which is a public hearing and motion on ordinance 2023-29, an ordinance of Tooele City amending Table 1, Table of Uses in Chapter 7-16 of the Tooele City Code regarding accessory dwelling units located above the ground floor in the General Commercial Zoning District and Downtown Overlay District. This is presented by Andrew Agard, the Community Development Director.
Thank you, Chairman Brady, members of the council. This ordinance amendment involves mainly the properties located in our downtown overlay. What this ordinance amendment does is it changes the listing of in the table of commercial uses to a C/P, the P being permitted, and applies to properties that are zone general commercial and within the downtown area. Basically, that gives the property owners of buildings with multi-stories to have accessory dwelling units in the upper floors without having to go through the conditional use process. There's also a note that's being added to the ordinance, note number 7, that indicates that any property that's zoned general commercial that is not in the downtown overlay still has to go through the conditional use process. So really this ordinance amendment just applies to the downtown area overlay, but it's just making it a little more convenient for property owners to utilize their upper stories for dwelling units for residential purposes. So that's the amendment that's being proposed. The Planning Commission did forward a positive recommendation to the City Council, and they held a public hearing. There were no public comments registered during that meeting. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it for you.
Are they still required to have a parking, like a designated parking spot?
Yeah, residential units do require to have a parking spot. The ordinance, however, is fairly silent when it comes to commercial accessory dwelling units. For residential accessory dwelling units, they have to provide one parking stall. We would anticipate that for commercial, they're probably going to have at least one car. So they would have to have a place to park it.
Okay.
And a question going off of Chairman Brady's is, so would it be beneficial to tighten up the code to specify that, because this seems to be a little bit of an exception because it's downtown, to make sure that it says that they would be required at least one, or to specify it so there's no confusion on that?
Wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt at all.
Councilman, I could maybe give you a little historical background on this. The ordinance that allows second-story residential in a commercial district has been in place since 1998, when we retained Bruce Parker, a well-known planner in Utah, to put together our zoning districts, and he created the downtown overlay at that time. And utilizing the prevailing wisdom of the time, which remains in effect today, we did not require minimum parking standards for the downtown overlay properties because various uses have different peak parking hours, and over the district, then that kind of evens out. So some uses will require more parking during the daytime, others in the evening, and others at night. And so rather than try to determine exactly what parking requirements are going to be based on the business and the time of day, we at that time allowed the Planning Commission, when looking at commercial applications, to kind of figure that out. But we do not anticipate enough additional parking requirements during peak commercial parking hours to recommend a residential parking standard to you. So that's why we've just left it the way it's been since '98 with less precise parking standards. Just a little historical background.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay. This requires a public hearing, so we will open the time up to the public. Same rules as stated previously. Okay, seeing no one come forward from the public, I'll close the public comment period and turn the time back to the council and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-29, an ordinance of Twila City amending Table 1, Table of Uses in Chapter 7-16 of the Twila City Code regarding accessory dwelling units located above the ground floor in the General Commercial Zoning District and Downtown Overlay District.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Graff?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 5 is Resolution 2023-52, a resolution of the Twila City Council authorizing payment of fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for PH Utah Holdings, LLC. This is presented by Jared Stewart, the Economic Development Director.
Good evening, Council. All right, so this application, I suppose, is coming back to you. It came to a work meeting a couple weeks ago. We worked, or maybe it was a month ago. It was probably the one month ago in that meeting. And at that point, you had requested that we take it back to the applicant and have them reanalyze their water use, which they did, and they reduced their outdoor irrigation request so that would be more in line with city code and not above what is needed really for outdoor irrigation at the site. We received that, and at that point, Paul and I looked at that, and Paul also recommended that we have them reanalyze their indoor water use as well. We thought that might be a little high, and they did reanalyze that indoor water use, and what you see in your packet actually doesn't reflect that reanalysis. They sent that to me right after I'd sent it to Holly, and I neglected to then send Holly a new version. So the version in the packet is actually higher than what their actual request is. You'll see 1.5 acre feet showing in the packet and on the resolution. Their actual request is for 1.05. So maybe you will want to note that and maybe either reprint and sign, or if Michelle could cross it out. I don't know what the best procedure there to do there is, but it looks like we could cross it out and kind of make that amendment. But really, this is just to reiterate and go through what the project is. Again, it's a 1.05 acre foot request of water for some flex space uses on Utah Avenue. The project doesn't have direct sales tax, but what it does do is it promotes entrepreneurship, new business owners that maybe have been working out of a garage or a smaller space. They're hoping to expand, grow their business. They need an actual space to work in. They'll be able to come here and use one of these 25 units to store equipment, perform work, do some of the jobs they have. A lot of times they are targeted towards contractors or entrepreneurs starting and needing some small spaces where they can store things and then take a project out. So that is the request for 1.05 acre feet of water, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. And I apologize for the confusion in the packet. That was my fault, not Holly's, so I just didn't send the right version.
Any questions or comments from the council? Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2023-52, resolution of the Tooele City Council authorizing payment of a fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for PH Utah Holdings LLC with 1.05 acre feet of water.
I'll second it.
A motion from Councilwoman Manzo and a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman Graff?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 6 is Resolution 2023-53, a resolution of the Tooele City Council authorizing payment of fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for Christensen Griffith Construction, presented by Jared Stewart, the Economic Development Director.
All right, thank you, Council. So this project is for let's see, what's the word? It's a recreation center, right? A rec center at property owned by Christensen and Griffith. It would represent a $2.7 million investment in new construction. There will be sales tax for memberships that will also help create 1 to 2 full-time jobs and 6 to 8 part-time jobs as people who work for employees at the rec center. Construction, really, they want to start this summer, right? They're really ready to go. Brock Griffith actually came into the office today and just asked, "Hey, do you have everything you need?" You know, he was eager to make sure we had everything in line for this request. It's a request for 1.02 acre feet of water. They don't need a lot there, just for bathrooms and essentially to serve the uses at the rec center there. So that's the request. I think this is, from what I hear in the community and based on their request, it's something that is really needed in the community and seems to be sought after and desired by residents, and should help improve quality of life as well as provide some jobs and kind of economic growth.
Any questions or comments from the council?
People are already talking about it.
Yeah. People have wanted a rec center for a long time. Okay. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution 2023-53, a resolution of Tooele City Council authorizing payment of a fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for Christensen Griffith Construction.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilman Graff, a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Graff?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you, Council.
Item 7 is Resolution 2023-55, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Broken Arrow, Inc. for the 2023 Southwest Drive Storm Drain Project, presented by Paul Hanson, the city engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jamie Graham, our Public Works Director, was planning to present this, but asked if I would fill in for him tonight. During heavy storm events, we have areas of town that do receive more flooding than others. And to help the city attack those problems, the City Council enacted a stormwater fee several years ago that the residents contribute to. That goes towards maintenance of existing stormwater and other aspects that cost the city. But it also provides additional funds that we can use to complete projects to help alleviate some of those areas that we see more flooding in. As many projects as we bring to you to fund, we have another 20 or 30 that we'd like to do the same thing with. So we try to spread it throughout the city, and take care of those areas that appear to cause the highest risk to us. So this project is for the installation of a relatively small storm drain project on Southwest Drive, located between Southland Drive and 1 O'Clock Drive, which does have some flooding due to the very flat nature of the road when it was built back in the mid-1980s, and should be used for that. I want to note that there's additional utility upgrades and roadway improvements that should occur on that project and are needed, but this project is only for the storm drain due to funding challenges as, again, we face things. So we'll be back on this street at some point in the future doing more work as we deal with it. City administration accepted bids for this project in accordance with state regulations, and we received 2 bids. We're finding that work projects are still quite expensive compared to what they were a few years ago, but we do have some competitive bids, and you have a copy of that bid tabulation in your package. Broken Arrow Incorporated has submitted the lowest cost proposal to the city, and that amount is $375,960.58. The city administration is asking for a 5% contingency, which has been our recommendation for many projects, because whenever you dig in the ground, you always find a surprise, as you're well aware of on the other ones. That contingency amount would be $18,800, and it would be used as reviewed and approved by the mayor based upon field conditions on this specific project. That is our request to you tonight, then, is to approve the contract with Broken Arrow in the amount of $375,960.58 with the additional 5% contingency. Do you have any questions for me?
No questions. Okay. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve Resolution 2023-55, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Broken Arrow Incorporated for the 2023 Southwest Drive Storm Drain Project.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman Graff?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. That passes 4-0. Item 8 is Resolution 2023-56, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Achieve Contracting LLC for the Settlers Memorial Park Restrooms Project presented by Darwin Cook, the Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening, Council. As stated, Resolution 2023-56 is for an agreement to construct a 2-stall restroom at Settlers Park, which is the park at 100 South or 100 West at the end of the town, kind of right next to where Gophers is. We have a park there. The park gets some decent amount of usage. Currently, what we do at that park is we actually put a portable potty there every year, and what we'd like to do is actually build a restroom there in hopes of maybe attracting some more people to use that park. In our current budget, we had budgeted $180,000 for this project based upon a engineer's estimate, but as the the construction documents were created and it was sent out to bid, it did go out to bid, and we did receive 2 bids, and the bids came in a little higher than that. The lowest bid was $247,650 by Achieve, and then we also had another bid. What we are proposing, that in our budget this year, you also approved a playground, that one of the playgrounds that was slated for replacement was actually at Settlers Park. The playground there can go a couple more years if needed be. So we're actually proposing that if you approve this agreement, we would use the money in that playground project that was approved in this year's budget as well to make up the shortfall for this project here. Any questions? And then we would continue our playground replacement in next year's budget.
Any questions or comments?
I just have one concern, because I've been there recently and it seems like there are quite a few transient people there a lot. So I worry about the use of the bathroom and it becoming more of a living facility rather than a park?
We have we have two new neighbors. One of them that's fairly close to the Boys and Girls Club, and then also a new daycare that's right there by the park. We're hoping that with them being so close and using the park more, that it would actually bring better, more desirable visitors to the park. We actually saw this transition with Elton Park, that as we put the pickleball courts in and then we put the walking path in, it completely changed the people who were visiting the park. And we do, to validate your statement, we recognize that does happen here. We've trimmed up some of the bushes where they were hiding constantly and kind of took out some of their hiding spots so that they're not there as often.
My concern is that we already have a vandalism problem too with the bathrooms. Would there be any security cameras on this new construction, or would it?
We didn't budget for that in this, but we could, with some of we could put that in as part of the project too, with some of the other money that's left over from the one. But
I just have a feeling if there isn't something to deter vandalism, then it's just going to keep happening and be a hot spot for it, I think, in that area. So that's my one reservation with having a park there. If we don't have, it's not really a highly populated area. It's kind of off the beaten path.
I don't think we should ever build a bathroom without a camera.
At this point, no.
And I think we did kind of head in that direction. I think we just kind of, when we had sticker shock from when as Paul had stated, everything in construction has just gone through the roof, so.
And just kind of a follow-up question, because it seems like looking at some of our bathrooms, they've really been hit. Would there be value in trying to see, and I mean, we don't want to hold up the contract, but is this something where if we integrated that into the project, it actually saves us money in the long run, as opposed to having to re-engineer a particular design to get power or whatever? I'm out way outside my field.
Well, fortunately, we do have All West, is that who they are? That's putting in fiber right there, so we'd have access to an internet connection, and we do currently have a contractor that actually does our security system. So I don't know that, we would probably just go through our current contractor to do that, just so that we weren't doing third party to absorb another markup.
Gotcha, okay.
And we definitely could have this, our contractor, Wasatch, is very good about us, and if we send the plans to us, they can shoot us a price back to tell us exactly what the cameras would cost.
Do you have money budgeted for cameras if that was
We
a
do.
requirement?
Mayor, I can't, to be honest with you, I haven't seen the.
We had originally put $90,000 in the line item for the playground equipment. The shortage will just be $67,000, so there will be funds left, and one restroom should only take one or two cameras to cover that.
This would be about a $7,500 camera project, I would suspect.
We do know that when the Boys and Girls Club moves into their new facility, which is just a block away, they will be using this park on a regular basis, at least in the summer when it is open. And I think with the additional people being at the park, it will help with some of those concerns. It is just unfortunate that we have to worry about vandalism in our restrooms, but the cameras will make a difference. I think that they will, and I agree. We don't build a restroom without having a camera there. And we're getting really close to having those at all of our parks right now. And this is my neighborhood. And it is just really difficult to have a family function or to bring young children there to play on those playground equipment when there's not a restroom. It's very difficult. So I think this will add a lot to that park.
How many other parks do we have that don't have a restroom? Is this the only one?
I think there's just two others beyond this one, Glen Eagles and then Smelter Park.
Okay.
Oh, and Veterans, thank you, yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. So if we state that in,
That's what I was going to say.
if we state that additional funding for cameras, is that okay with everyone?
It's already in the budget.
I think you should probably state your amendment as though we're going to put the cameras in.
Okay.
Or your not amendment, but your
Your motion, yeah.
motion, yeah.
Okay, does anyone want to make a motion?
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right, let's give it a shot. Mr. Chairman, I move we approve Resolution 2023-56, a resolution of Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Achieve Contracting LLC for the Settlers Memorial Park restroom project and adding to what's been previously mentioned in our packet is also adding cameras to the project to prevent any vandalism or being proactive. Is there anything else we need to add to that? So, and whatever money needed to be allocated for that project.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Graff and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Sorry. I almost said I'm Councilman Graff. Councilman Graff?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0.
Thank you, council.
Item 9 is invoices and purchase orders. None tonight. Item 10 is the minutes from June 21st, 2023, the City Council work meeting, and June 21st, 2023, City Council business meeting. Any changes to those? I was not present for that, so I'll abstain from voting on this.
I didn't see any.
I didn't either. I was making sure I make a note.
They took out the part of me laughing at myself making mistakes, so that was good.
They're nice to leave those parts out, huh?
It's kind to us.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Manzo and a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman Graff?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I'll abstain from this since I wasn't present. So that passes 3-0. Item 11 is to adjourn. We are adjourned at 7:27.
Wow.